The massive spaceship sat in the repair dock like a dying giant. Its metal surface was dark and cold. No lights blinked on its hull. No engines hummed with power. The ship called Eternal Dawn had been silent for 3 months now. Everyone who looked at it felt the same thing: failure. Empress Heron stood at the observation window. Her purple robes moved slightly as she shifted her weight. She was tall and proud. Her face showed anger that she tried to hide. Behind her stood 12 members of her royal council. They all wore worried faces. Nobody wanted to speak first. 28 engineers, Heron said quietly. Her voice was calm, but everyone heard the rage underneath. 28 of the best engineers in the entire Galactic Coalition, and not one of them could fix my ship. One council member stepped forward. His name was Taejin. He was old and careful with his words. Your Majesty, perhaps we should consider building a new flagship. The quantum drive technology is very new. Maybe too new. Maybe it has problems that cannot be fixed. Heron turned to look at him. Her eyes were sharp. That ship cost more resources than 10 planets produce in a year. It was supposed to show our power to every species in the galaxy. And now it sits there, dead, useless, a monument to our failure. She walked to the window and pressed her hand against the cold glass. Down below in the dock, workers moved around the ship like tiny insects. They were preparing for another repair attempt. The 29th engineer was supposed to arrive today. Heron did not have much hope. The humans are here, another council member said. Her name was Somin. She was young and handled trade agreements. They brought the supply shipment we ordered: food, medical supplies, and entertainment materials. Humans, Heron said the word like it tasted bad. They are so proud. They act like they are special. They brag about their technology and their clever solutions, but they are just one species among thousands. They are good traders, Somin said carefully. They always deliver on time. Their prices are fair. Because they want our money, Heron replied. They want access to our markets. They smile and bow and pretend to respect us. But I see how they look at our technology. They think they could do better. Taejin coughed softly. Your Majesty, should we send them away? Tell them to wait outside the station until we are ready to receive the supplies? Heron was quiet for a moment. Then a strange smile appeared on her face. It was not a happy smile. No, bring their ship captain to me. I want to meet this human. The council members looked at each other with confusion, but nobody asked questions. They simply bowed and left to follow her orders. 30 minutes later, a human man walked into the observation room. He was not very tall. His hair was black with some gray in it. He wore simple clothes, a brown jacket and dark pants. Nothing fancy. He looked tired. Behind him walked a young girl. She was maybe 10 years old. She had the same black hair as the man. She carried a small bag and looked around the room with curious eyes. I am Do-hyun, the man said. He bowed slightly. His voice was calm and respectful. This is my daughter, Yuna. Thank you for allowing us to dock at your station. Heron studied him. This was not what she expected. Human ship captains usually wore uniforms. They usually came alone. They usually tried to look impressive. This man looked like he just finished a long day of work. The girl yawned and leaned against her father's leg. You brought your child to a trade meeting? Heron asked. I am a single father, Do-hyun replied simply. Where I go, she goes. I hope that is acceptable. Heron waved her hand. It does not matter. I did not call you here to discuss trade. I have a question for you. Yes, Your Majesty? You humans are always so proud of yourselves. You tell stories about how clever you are, how you solve impossible problems, how you are better than other species at fixing things and building things. Is this true, or is it just bragging? Do-hyun's face did not change. He thought for a moment before answering. Some humans brag. Some humans are skilled. I think this is true for all species. I do not know if humans are better or worse than others. I only know what I can do." "And what can you do?" Haran asked. She walked closer to him. "What is your skill?" "I maintain ships," Do-Yun said. "I fix things that break. I have done this work for 20 years. Before I became a trader, I worked on colony ships. I kept their systems running." Perfect, Haran thought. This was exactly what she wanted. She pointed out the window at the Eternal Dawn. "That is my flagship, the most advanced ship in the Coalition fleet. 28 expert engineers have tried to repair it. All of them failed. The quantum drive will not start. Nobody knows why." Do-Yun looked at the ship. He was quiet for a long moment. Yuna tugged on his jacket. "Can we get food soon, Dad? I am hungry." "Soon," he told her gently. Then he looked back at Haran. "It is a beautiful ship. I am sorry it is broken." "I do not want your pity," Haran said coldly. "I want to test your human pride. You claim humans are good at fixing things, so here is my challenge. Fix my ship." The room became very quiet. Tae-Jin and the other council members who had returned stared at the Empress. This was not discussed. This was not planned. What was she doing? "Your Majesty," Tae-Jin said carefully, "perhaps we should discuss this first. The human is just a trader. He is not an engineer." "He said he fixes things," Haran replied without looking away from Do-Hyun, "so let him prove it. If humans are as capable as they claim, this should be easy. If you fix my ship, human, I will grant your people premium trading rights across the entire coalition, exclusive contracts, massive profits." "And if I cannot fix it?" Do-Hyun asked. Haran smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Then humans lose all trading privileges in coalition space. Your ships will be banned from our stations. Your people will lose billions in revenue, all because you could not back up your proud words." "That is not fair," Soman whispered. "He is just one person." "Humans always say one of them is worth 10 of anyone else," Haran said. "Let us see if that is true." Do-Yun looked at his daughter. Yuna looked up at him with complete trust in her eyes. She did not understand what was happening. She just knew her father would make the right choice. He always did. Then Do-Yun looked back at Empress Haran. He bowed his head slightly. "I accept your challenge. I will try to fix your ship." Haran had not expected that. She thought he would argue. She thought he would make excuses. She thought he would refuse. But he simply accepted. Just like that. "You understand what will happen if you fail?" she asked. "Yes," Do-Hyun said. "I understand. May I see the ship now? I would like to start working." Haran gestured to her guards. "Take him to the Eternal Dawn. Give him access to everything. Let us see what this human father can do." As Do-Hyun and Yuna followed the guards out of the room, Tae-Jin moved close to the Empress. "Your Majesty, why did you do this? This was not planned. If he fails, we lose valuable trade partners. If he succeeds, it will be embarrassing." Haran watched through the window as the small figures of the human and his daughter walked toward the massive dead ship. "I am tired of human pride," she said quietly. "I am tired of them acting superior. It is time someone taught them a lesson. That man will fail, and when he does, humans will learn humility." But deep in her mind, a small voice asked a question. What if he does not fail? What if he actually fixes it? Haran pushed the thought away. It was impossible. 28 experts had tried. One human with a child would not succeed where they failed. It was impossible. She kept telling herself that as she watched Do-Hyun and Yuna disappear into the ship's entrance. The Eternal Dawn waited in silence, dark and dead and broken. Impossible, Haran thought again. But her hand trembled slightly against the cold glass. The inside of the Eternal Dawn was cold and dark. Emergency lights gave a dim blue glow that made everything look sad. Do-hyun walked slowly down the main corridor. His footsteps echoed in the empty space. Yuna held his hand tightly. She did not like the dark ship. "It smells funny," she said quietly. "Yes, it does," Do-hyun agreed. He was paying attention to everything. The smell was important. It told him things. Behind them walked 3 engineers. Their names were Minseo, Jiwon, and Hyuk. They had all tried to fix the ship before. They all failed. Now they were ordered to help the human. They did not want to be here. They did not think the human could succeed. "The quantum drive is 7 levels down," Minseo said. She was tall and spoke with a sharp voice. "We can take you directly there. That is where the problem is." "Not yet," Do-hyun said. He stopped walking and knelt down. He took off his boots. Then he took off his socks. The engineers stared at him. "What are you doing?" Jiwon asked. He was young and impatient. "We do not have time for games." "I am not playing a game," Do-hyun said calmly. He stood up. His bare feet touched the cold metal floor. "I need to feel the ship." "Feel the ship?" Hyuk laughed. He was older than Jiwon, but just as rude. "This is advanced technology. You do not fix it by feeling it with your feet. You need diagnostic equipment, computers, scanners, science." Do-hyun did not argue. He simply started walking again. His bare feet made soft sounds on the floor. Yuna watched the engineers with narrow eyes. She did not like when people were mean to her father. They walked through 3 more corridors. Do-hyun stopped several times. He would stand very still, close his eyes, feel the floor with his feet. The engineers whispered to each other and shook their heads. This was a waste of time. "Dad, why are you doing this?" Yuna asked. She knew there was a reason. Her father always had reasons. "When you walk without shoes, you can feel vibrations," Do-hyun explained. He was teaching her. He always turned work into lessons. "Big machines make the floor shake in certain ways. Even when a machine is off, the floor remembers. It tells you things." "That is nonsense," Minseo said. "Floors do not remember. That is not science." "You are right," Do-hyun agreed. "It is not science, it is experience." They reached a junction where 3 corridors met. Do-hyun stopped and looked at the walls. He walked to one wall and pressed his hand against it. He moved his hand slowly across the surface. The engineers watched with confusion. Then Do-hyun did something strange. He licked his finger. He touched the wall again. Then he tasted his finger. "That is disgusting," Jiwon said. "The walls are covered in dust and chemicals." "Yes," Do-hyun said. "Chemicals. Interesting." He looked at Minseo. "How many times did your team change the coolant in the quantum drive?" "4 times," Minseo answered. "Why does that matter?" "What type of coolant did you use?" "Type 7 quantum fluid," she said. "It is the recommended coolant for this drive system." Do-hyun nodded slowly. He touched the wall again, felt the texture. "And before that, what coolant was originally in the system?" Minseo had to think. "Type 5. But we upgraded to Type 7 because it is better. It is more efficient." "Did you flush the system completely before adding the new coolant?" Do-hyun asked. "Of course we did," Hyuk said angrily. "We are not amateurs. We followed all the procedures." But Do-hyun saw Minseo's face change slightly. She was remembering something. We did a standard flush. 3 cycles. That is the normal procedure." "For a normal system," Do-hyun said quietly. "But this is a quantum drive. Quantum systems can be sensitive. Type 5 and Type 7 coolants have different molecular structures. Even small amounts left behind can cause interference." The 3 engineers looked at each other. None of them had thought of that. Could it be that simple? Could residue from old coolant be causing the problem? "That is just a guess," Jiwon said. But he sounded less confident now. "Yes," Do-hyun agreed. It is a guess. Let us keep looking. They continued down, level after level. Do-hyun stopped at each level. He would walk the corridors, touch panels, smell the air, listen to the silence. The engineers followed him. They stopped talking. They started watching what he did. Yuna sat down on a bench on level 4. She was tired. "Dad, how much longer?" "Not much longer," Do-hyun promised. He gave her a protein bar from his pocket. "Eat this. Rest a little." Minseo sat down next to Yuna. "Your father is very strange," she said. "Not mean, just honest." Yuna smiled. "All fathers are strange, but mine is the best at fixing things." "How do you know?" "Because everything I ever broke, he fixed," Yuna said simply. "My toys, my data pad, even my feelings when I am sad. He always knows how to fix things." Minseo looked at the little girl. Then she looked at Do-hyun, who was running his hand along some pipes. "What does he do? When you are sad?" "He listens," Yuna said. She took a bite of the protein bar. "He does not talk too much. He just listens until he understands the problem, then he fixes it." That made Minseo think. Had any of them really listened to the ship? They ran diagnostics. They checked systems. They replaced parts. But did they listen? On level 7, they finally reached the quantum drive room. It was huge. The drive itself was the size of a small house. It was surrounded by pipes and cables and control panels. Everything was dark and silent. Do-hyun stood in the doorway for a long time. He did not move. He just looked and listened. "Well," Hyuk said, "this is it. This is the problem." "What do you see?" "I see a machine that is stressed," Do-hyun said quietly. "Stressed? Machines do not feel stress," Ji-won replied. "Yes, they do," Do-hyun said. He walked into the room. "Not like people feel stress, but they have limits. They have balance points. When you push them past those points, they stop working correctly." He walked around the drive. His bare feet made no sound. He touched panels, checked connections, opened small access hatches, and looked inside. "Your team installed a lot of new safety systems," Do-hyun observed. "I can see 12 different backup regulators, power monitors, flow controllers. All of them are top-quality equipment." "Of course," Minseo said. "We wanted to make sure the drive was protected." "But who protects the drive from the protectors?" Do-hyun asked. He pointed at one regulator, then another, then another. "Each one of these systems produces a small electromagnetic field. Individually, they are harmless, but 12 of them together, all operating at slightly different frequencies." He stopped talking. He was doing math in his head. The engineers waited. "They are creating interference," Do-hyun finally said. "Harmonic interference. The quantum drive needs very precise frequency alignment to work. But all these safety systems are creating noise, static. The drive cannot find its correct frequency because there is too much interference." Silence filled the room. The engineers stared at the safety systems they installed. Systems meant to help. Could those systems actually be causing the problem? "But we tested each system individually," Ji-won said. "They all worked perfectly." "Yes," Do-hyun agreed. "Individually they work fine, but together they fight each other. It is like having 12 people all trying to tune the same musical instrument at the same time. They all pull in different directions. The instrument never gets tuned." He walked to a control panel and called up some readings. Old readings from before the engineers started working. Then newer readings. He showed them to Minseo. "Look, before you installed the safety systems, the drive had these frequency readings. After you installed them, the readings became unstable, small variations, nothing that would trigger an alert, but enough to prevent the quantum drive from starting." Minseo looked at the numbers. Her face went pale. "You are right. I see it now. But how did we miss this? We ran hundreds of diagnostics. You were looking for big problems, Do-hyun said kindly. Broken parts, failed connections. You did not think the solution might be removing things instead of adding things. Hyok stepped forward. He looked angry but also confused. So what do we do? Remove all the safety systems? That seems dangerous. Not all of them, Do-hyun said. He studied the systems again. 6 of them. We remove 6. We keep the other 6, but we recalibrate them to operate on synchronized frequencies. That way they do not fight each other. That is a huge risk, Ji-won said. If you are wrong, we could damage the drive even more. Yes, Do-hyun agreed. It is a risk, but doing nothing is also a risk. The Empress wants her ship fixed. I am here to try. Yuna appeared in the doorway. She had finished her protein bar. Did you figure it out, Dad? I think so, Do-hyun said. But now comes the hard part, the actual work. You always say that, Yuna said. She sat down on the floor. You always say figuring out the problem is easy. Fixing it is hard. Min-seo laughed. It was the first time she laughed since the human arrived. Your daughter is very smart. She learns fast, Do-hyun said proudly. He turned to the engineers. I will need some basic tools. A sonic wrench, a frequency analyzer, some bypass cables, and some tape. Tape? All 3 engineers said together. Yes, tape. Good quality sealing tape. Do-hyun smiled. Sometimes the old ways work best. The engineers left to get the supplies. Min-seo paused at the door. Human, she said, I am sorry we were rude to you. You see things we did not see. You are good engineers, Do-hyun told her. You just tried too hard. Sometimes the answer is not more complexity. Sometimes the answer is less. After they left, Yuna stood next to her father. Are you sure you can fix it? Do-hyun hugged his daughter. I do not know, but I will try my best. That is all anyone can do. High above, in the observation room, Empress Heron watched on security monitors. She saw the human talking, saw him touching the drive with his bare hands, saw him explaining things to her engineers. What is he doing? She asked. Taejin had been listening to the audio feed. He believes he found the problem. Harmonic interference from the safety systems. Harin frowned. That is impossible. Our best engineers installed those systems. Perhaps that is the problem, Taejin said quietly. Perhaps best engineers overthink things. Harin did not reply. She just watched the monitor, watched the human father prepare to do what 28 experts could not do. Part of her wanted him to fail, but another part, a small part she did not want to admit existed, hoped he would succeed. The night was going to be very long. The tools arrived in a large container. Min-seo, Ji-won, and Hyuk brought everything Do-hyun requested. They set the container down near the quantum drive. The sound echoed in the large room. Do-hyun opened the container and looked inside. He picked up the sonic wrench, tested its weight, checked its settings. Then he picked up the roll of tape. Strong silver tape meant for sealing ship panels. The engineers watched him with curious faces. That tape costs 3 credits per meter, Hyuk said. It is expensive tape. Good, Do-hyun replied. Cheap tape would not work for this job. He walked to the first safety regulator. It was mounted on the wall near the quantum drive. The device was the size of a small box. Lights blinked on its surface. Do-hyun studied it carefully. He checked the connections, read the data panel. Then he began to remove it. Wait, Ji-won said. Should we not run diagnostics first? Make sure we know exactly what each system is doing before we remove it? Do-hyun paused. He looked at the young engineer. That is a good thought, but diagnostics will take 4 hours. I do not think the Empress wants to wait 4 hours. Do you? Ji-won had no answer for that. Do-hyun continued working. His hands moved with confidence. Not fast, not slow, just steady. He disconnected power cables, removed mounting bolts, carefully lifted the regulator away from the wall. He set it down gently on the floor. "One down," he said quietly. "5 more to go." Minseo moved closer. She watched how Do-hyun worked. He did not rush. He checked every connection twice before removing it. He labeled each cable with small tags so he would remember what went where. He was organized, careful, patient. "You move like someone who has done this many times," she observed. "I have," Do-hyun said. "On colony ships, things break often. You learn to work carefully. If you make a mistake in space, people can die, so you do not make mistakes." He moved to the second regulator. This one was harder to reach. It was mounted behind several pipes. Do-hyun had to squeeze into a tight space to access it. Hyuk handed him the sonic wrench. Their eyes met for a moment. Hyuk nodded slightly. It was a small gesture of respect. Yuna sat in the corner with a small datapad. She was playing a game, but every few minutes she looked up to check on her father, making sure he was okay, making sure he was safe. This was normal for her. She spent many nights watching her father work on broken equipment. "Does your daughter always stay with you?" Minseo asked. She sat down near Yuna. "Does she not go to school?" "I teach her," Do-hyun said from behind the pipes. "We use educational programs. She learns while we travel. She is very smart, much smarter than me." "That is not true," Yuna said without looking up from her game. "Dad is the smartest person I know." "See?" Do-hyun said. "Very smart. She lies very well." Yuna giggled. Minseo smiled. Even Ji-won and Hyuk looked less angry now. The second regulator came free. Do-hyun climbed out from behind the pipes. He was sweating. His shirt had grease stains. He looked tired, but he did not stop. He moved to the third regulator. "You should rest," Minseo suggested. "Have some water. Take a break." "After I finish 3, Do-hyun said. 3 is a good number for a break." "Why 3? Ji-won asked. Do-hyun thought for a moment. "When I was teaching Yuna to clean her room, I learned something. If you do 1 task and rest, you lose momentum. If you do 2 tasks and rest, it feels incomplete. But 3 tasks feel like progress. The mind accepts 3 as an achievement, so we always work in groups of 3. The engineers had never heard anything like this. This was not engineering theory. This was life theory, parent theory. It was strange, but it made sense. The third regulator was the easiest to remove. It was in an open space with good access. Do-hyun removed it quickly. He set it with the other 2. Then he sat down on the floor next to Yuna. He took a water bottle from his bag, drank half of it, gave the rest to his daughter. "You are doing good, Dad," Yuna said. She patted his shoulder, like she was the parent and he was the child. "Thank you," Do-hyun said seriously. He always took her compliments seriously. "I learned from the best teacher." "Who taught you?" Hyuk asked. He sat down near them. The others joined. They were all taking a break now. "My wife," Do-hyun said. His voice became soft. "She was an excellent engineer, much better than me. She could look at a broken machine and understand it immediately, like she could see inside it with her mind." "What happened to her?" Minseo asked. Then she realized it might be a rude question. "I am sorry. You do not have to answer." "It is okay," Do-hyun said. "She died 4 years ago. Accident on a station. Pressure seal failed. She was in the wrong section." He looked at Yuna. "She made me promise to take care of our daughter, to teach her everything, to never leave her alone." "I am sorry," all 3 engineers said together. "She would have liked this challenge," Do-hyun said. He smiled, but his eyes were sad. "She always said the best solutions are the simple ones. She would have figured this problem out faster than me." Yuna leaned against her father. But you figured it out. That is what matters. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Do-hyun stood up. 3 more to go. Then we recalibrate the remaining 6. Then we test. The 4th regulator was mounted near the ceiling. Do-hyun needed a ladder. Ji-won brought one. Held it steady while Do-hyun climbed. As Do-hyun worked, Ji-won asked questions. How did you learn to think differently? Most engineers follow procedures, follow rules. You seem to ignore rules. I do not ignore rules, Do-hyun said. He was disconnecting cables above his head. I understand why rules exist. Rules are created from past experience. They protect us from known problems. But sometimes we face new problems. Problems the rules were not made for. Then we must think differently. But how do you know when to follow rules and when to break them? Ji-won asked. Do-hyun climbed down the ladder. He looked at the young engineer. That is the hard question. The answer is experience. You must fail many times. Learn from failures. Eventually, you develop intuition. You feel when rules help and when they hold you back. I am afraid of failing, Ji-won admitted. That is why I follow procedures exactly. I do not want to make mistakes. Everyone is afraid of failing, Do-hyun said. But fear of failure is worse than failure itself. Fear stops you from trying new things, stops you from learning. I have failed many times. Each failure taught me something. He moved the ladder to reach the 5th regulator. This one was in a difficult position, mounted sideways near a power junction. Do-hyun had to work at an awkward angle. His arms got tired, but he did not complain. He just kept working. Min-seo climbed up the ladder behind him. Let me help. Tell me what to do. Together, they removed the 5th regulator. It took longer, but the work went smoother with 2 people. When they climbed down, both were sweating. Both were smiling slightly. One more, Hyuk said. He sounded almost excited now. Just one more to remove. The 6th regulator was the worst. It was mounted inside a narrow maintenance tunnel. Do-hyun had to crawl inside. The space was barely large enough for his body. He had to push the tool bag ahead of him. The engineers heard him working inside, heard the sound of tools, heard him muttering to himself. What is he saying? Ji-won asked Yuna. Yuna listened. He is singing. He always sings when he does hard work. It helps him focus. What song? A lullaby. The one Mom used to sing to me. After 20 minutes, Do-hyun backed out of the tunnel. He had grease on his face. His hands were dirty, but he held the 6th regulator. He set it down with the others, 6 regulators, all removed. Now comes the harder part, Do-hyun said. He wiped his face with a cloth. Now we must recalibrate the remaining 6 to work in harmony. How long will that take? Hyuk asked. 4 or 5 hours, Do-hyun said. Maybe more. Each one must be tuned precisely. They must all operate on synchronized frequencies. It will be detailed work. We will help, Min-seo said. Ji-won and Hyuk nodded. Thank you, Do-hyun said. But first food. Yuna is hungry. I am hungry. We must eat before we continue. A tired mind makes mistakes. They found a break room on level 6. Someone brought food from the station. Simple food, sandwiches, fruit, hot soup. They sat around a table and ate together. Engineers and human, father and daughter. The barriers between them were smaller now. Why did you become a trader? Min-seo asked. If you are good at fixing things, why not work as an engineer? Do-hyun ate some soup before answering. After my wife died, I needed to leave that station. Too many memories, too much pain. Trading let me travel, let me keep moving. Moving helped me heal, helped Yuna heal. Do you miss engineering work? Hyuk asked. Sometimes, Do-hyun admitted. But being a trader is good too. I meet many people, see many places, and I still fix things. Every ship has problems. I fix them as I travel. You are a strange human, Ji-won said. Then he quickly added, I mean that as a compliment. I understand, Do-hyun said. He smiled. I think all good engineers are strange. Normal thinking creates normal results. Strange thinking creates solutions. After they ate, they returned to the quantum drive room. Yuna was sleepy now. Min-seo found some blankets, made a comfortable spot in the corner. Yuna lay down and closed her eyes. In minutes, she was asleep. She trusts you completely, Min-seo said quietly. She sleeps peacefully even in this strange place. Children need to trust their parents, Do-hyun said. Without trust, they grow up afraid. I promised her mother I would give her a safe life, even if that life is unusual. Then he turned to the remaining 6 regulators, pulled out the frequency analyzer, connected it to the first unit. Numbers appeared on a small screen. He studied them carefully, made small adjustments, checked again, adjusted more. The engineers watched, learned. Sometimes they asked questions. Do-hyun always answered, always explained. He treated them as equals now, not as critics, as fellow engineers working toward the same goal. Hours passed. The station's night cycle came. Most workers went to sleep. But in the quantum drive room, 4 people worked in the dim light, adjusting frequencies, testing harmonics, making small changes that would hopefully make a big difference. Do-hyun's hands were steady. His eyes were tired but focused. He worked like someone who had done difficult things before. Someone who knew that patience and precision mattered more than speed. In the corner, Yuna slept peacefully. Sometimes she made small sounds. Do-hyun would pause his work. Look at her. Make sure she was okay. Then return to the task. You are a good father, Min-seo said quietly. She is lucky to have you. I am lucky to have her, Do-hyun replied. She gives me purpose. Without her, I would have been lost after my wife died. But I had to be strong for her. Had to keep going. Children save us sometimes. More than we save them. Finally, as the station's morning cycle began, Do-hyun made the last adjustment. He checked all 6 regulators one final time. Checked the frequency readings. Checked the synchronization. Everything was aligned. Everything was ready. It is time, he said. Time to test if I am right or wrong. The engineers gathered around. Yuna woke up, rubbed her eyes, stood next to her father. They all looked at the quantum drive, the massive machine that had been silent for 3 months. Do-hyun's hand moved toward the activation switch. He paused, looked at the engineers. If this works, it is not because I am smarter than you. It is because I looked at the problem differently. Remember that. Then he pressed the switch. For a moment, nothing happened. Complete silence. The engineers held their breath. Yuna squeezed her father's hand. Then the quantum drive hummed. Softly at first, then louder. Lights began to blink on panels. Power readings climbed. The hum became a steady vibration. The vibration became a pulse. The pulse became stable. The quantum drive was alive. The sound filled the entire room, a deep thrumming that you could feel in your chest. The quantum drive's hum was like a sleeping giant waking up. Lights that had been dark for 3 months now glowed with soft blue energy. Display panels came to life. Numbers scrolled across screens. Data flowed through systems. Min-seo ran to the main control console. Her fingers moved quickly across the interface. She pulled up reading after reading. Her eyes got wider with each screen. The quantum matrices are synchronizing, she said. Her voice shook with excitement. The power flow is stable. The frequency alignment is perfect. Ji-won checked another console. The antimatter containment is holding steady. The magnetic fields are balanced. I cannot believe this. It is actually working. Hyuk looked at his datapad. He had to read the numbers 3 times to believe them. The efficiency rating is 98%. 98! This drive never performed above 92% even when it was new. How is this possible? Do-hyun stood quietly. He watched the engineers celebrate. He felt relief but also exhaustion. He had been awake all night. His body ached. His hands were sore. But it was done. The ship was fixed. Yuna hugged her father's waist. "I knew you could do it, Dad." "Did you?" Do-hyun asked. He smiled down at her. "I was not completely sure." "I was," Yuna said confidently. "You always fix things. That is what you do." Minseo turned from her console. She walked to Do-hyun. For a moment, she just looked at him. Then she bowed deeply. "I apologize for doubting you. I apologize for being rude. You have done what we could not do. You saved this ship." "We saved it together," Do-hyun said. He gestured to all three engineers. "You helped. You trusted me even when my methods seemed strange. That took courage." "But you saw what we could not see," Ji-won said. He also bowed. "You taught us something important tonight. Sometimes we think too much. Sometimes we make things too complicated." "You are all good engineers," Do-hyun replied. "You have knowledge I do not have, skills I do not have. You just needed a fresh perspective. A different way of looking at the problem." Hayek was still reading his data pad. He looked confused and amazed at the same time. "These numbers are incredible. The drive is performing better than design specifications. How did removing safety systems improve performance?" "The systems you removed were not bad," Do-hyun explained. "They were just wrong for this specific situation. The quantum drive needs a very quiet electromagnetic environment. All those safety systems created noise, small noise individually, but together they disrupted the quantum field. By removing some and synchronizing the rest, we created the quiet environment the drive needed." "But none of our diagnostic tests showed this," Minseo said. "We ran hundreds of tests." "Your tests looked for big problems," Do-hyun said. "Broken components, failed connections. They were not designed to detect harmonic interference. Nobody thought to look for that because the safety systems were supposed to help, not hurt." "How did you know to look for it?" Ji-won asked. Do-hyun was quiet for a moment. He thought about how to explain. "I once fixed my daughter's music player. It stopped working. I took it apart. Everything looked fine. All the parts were good, but it still did not work. Then I noticed she had stuck 2 magnets on the case. Decorative magnets she liked. Those magnets created a small magnetic field that interfered with the player's circuits. Remove the magnets, the player worked perfectly." "So you remembered that experience and applied it here?" Hayek said. "You saw the safety systems as magnets on a music player?" "In a way," Do-hyun agreed. "Experience teaches us patterns. Once you see a pattern, you notice it in different situations." An alarm sounded. Not a bad alarm. A communication alert. Minseo checked the console. "It is the Empress. She wants to speak with us. She must have noticed the ship's systems coming online." "Should we go to her, or will she come here?" Ji-won asked. "She is coming here," Minseo said. "She is on her way now with her full council." "That is not good," Hayek said nervously. "When the Empress brings her full council, she is usually angry about something." Do-hyun picked up Yuna. She was tired and heavy with sleep. He held her against his shoulder. "We will face her together. The ship works. That is what matters." They waited. The quantum drive continued its steady hum. The sound was reassuring now, like a heartbeat. The ship was alive again. The eternal dawn was no longer eternal darkness. It was light and power and possibility. Footsteps echoed in the corridor. Many footsteps. The Empress arrived with 12 council members. Guards stood at attention. Everyone looked serious and formal. Empress Heron entered the quantum drive room. She stopped and stared at the active drive, the glowing panels, the flowing data, the beautiful light of a working quantum engine. "It is working," she said. It was not a question, just a statement of fact. But her voice carried shock and disbelief. "Yes, Your Majesty." Minseo said. She bowed. The human fixed it. He identified the problem and corrected it. Harren walked slowly around the drive. She checked panels, read data screens, touched the humming metal with her hand. She felt the vibration, the life. Her ship was alive again. The ship that 28 expert engineers could not save. The ship that was supposed to be impossible to fix. Tae-jin stepped forward. He had a data pad. He had been monitoring the ship's systems from the observation room all night. Your Majesty, I have been recording all the performance data. The quantum drive is currently operating at 98% efficiency. This is higher than any recorded performance in the ship's history. 98%? Harren repeated. She looked at Do-yoon. Really looked at him this time. Saw the grease stains on his clothes, the exhaustion on his face, the sleeping child in his arms. This was not what she expected. She expected a proud human showing off. Instead, she saw a tired father who did a job that needed doing. How did you do this? Harren asked. I removed 6 safety regulators that were causing harmonic interference, Do-yoon explained simply. Then I synchronized the remaining 6 to work in harmony instead of fighting each other. The quantum drive needs a quiet electromagnetic environment to function. The safety systems your engineers installed were creating too much noise. But those safety systems were installed by our best engineers, another council member said. Her name was Borum. She was responsible for ship design. They were meant to protect the drive, and they would protect it, Do-yoon said, in normal situations. But quantum drives are special. They are sensitive to things that normal drives ignore. Your engineers did good work. They just did not understand the specific needs of quantum technology. So you are saying our engineers are incompetent? Harren's voice was cold. No, Your Majesty, Do-yoon said calmly. I am saying they lacked experience with quantum systems. This is not their fault. Quantum drives are new technology. Everyone is still learning. I happen to see a pattern they missed. That does not make them incompetent. It makes them human. He paused. I mean, it makes them normal. All beings miss things sometimes. Harren studied his face, looking for arrogance, looking for pride, looking for the smugness she expected from a human who succeeded where others failed. But she saw none of those things. She saw only honesty and exhaustion. You worked all night, she observed. Yes, Do-hyun said. The job needed to be done. So I did it. Your daughter slept here? Yes. Where I go, she goes. I told you that before. Harren looked at Yuna. The little girl was sleeping peacefully on her father's shoulder, completely trusting, completely safe. Even in a strange alien ship surrounded by strangers, she felt safe because her father was there. What do you want? Harren asked. You completed the challenge. You won. What do you want as your reward? Do-yoon thought carefully before answering. I want the trading agreement we discussed. Premium rights for human traders in coalition space. This will help many people, many families. You could ask for more, Harren said. You could ask for money, position, power. I would give you a position in my court, make you the chief engineer of the entire fleet. You could have wealth beyond imagination. I am a trader, Do-hyun said. I like to travel. I like to see new places. I like my life. I do not need wealth or position. I just need to take care of my daughter and do honest work. Tae-jin leaned close to the Empress. Your Majesty, this is highly unusual. Most people would demand more. Ask for personal gain. He is not most people, Harren said quietly. She looked at Do-yoon again. You are strange for a human. I thought all humans were arrogant and proud. But you are humble. Some humans are arrogant, Do-yoon agreed. Some are humble. Just like some of any species are good and some are bad. We are all individuals. We should not judge entire species by a few examples. Those words hit Harren hard. She realized she had been doing exactly that, judging all humans by her prejudices. assuming they were all the same. She looked at her engineers. Minseo, Ji-won, and Hyok stood together. They looked different now, more confident, more thoughtful. Working with the human had changed them. "Tell me," Haran said to her engineers, "what did you learn tonight?" Minseo spoke first. "I learned that complexity is not always better than simplicity. Sometimes the best solution is to remove things, not add them." Ji-won went next. "I learned that experience from different fields can be valuable. The human used lessons from fixing simple devices to solve a complex problem. I need to think more broadly." Hyok finished. "I learned that working together with someone different can teach you new ways to think. I was rude to the human at first. I almost missed the chance to learn from him." Haran nodded slowly. She turned to Taejin. "Prepare the documents. Give humans premium trading rights as agreed, full access to all coalition markets, reduced tariffs, priority docking." "Yes, Your Majesty," Taejin said. He bowed and left to prepare the contracts. Haran looked at Do-yun one more time. "You humbled me today, human. I created this challenge to embarrass your species, to prove humans are not as special as they think. But you succeeded with grace. You did not brag. You did not demand excessive rewards. You just did the work and asked for fair compensation. This is honorable." "Thank you, Your Majesty," Do-hyun said. "May I ask you something?" "You may." "Why did you want to embarrass humans? What did we do to offend you?" Haran was silent for a long moment. "Humans are newcomers to the galactic community, yet you act as if you belong at the center. You are confident, bold, sometimes too bold. It bothered me. I thought you needed to learn humility, but perhaps I was the one who needed the lesson." "We are all learning," Do-yun said gently. "Humans are learning how to be part of the galaxy. Other species are learning how to accept us. It takes time, patience, understanding." Yuna stirred on Do-hyun's shoulder. She opened her eyes, looked around at all the people. "Are we going home now, Dad?" "Soon," Do-yun promised. "Very soon. Can we get those snacks I like? The purple ones from the station market?" Everyone heard her question. This little girl who slept through the miracle of the quantum drive repair now only cared about snacks. It was so normal, so simple, so human. Several council members smiled. "Yes," Do-yun said. "We can get your snacks." Then this was a good trip, Yuna decided. She closed her eyes again, back to sleep. The universe could wait. Snacks were promised. All was well. Haran actually laughed. It was the first genuine laugh anyone heard from her in months. "Your daughter has her priorities clear." "She is 10 years old," Do-yun said. "Her priorities are correct for her age. Food, sleep, and play. Adults make things more complicated than they need to be." "Another lesson," Haran said. She gestured to her guards. "Escort the human and his daughter to the finest quarters on the station. Let them rest. Bring them whatever food they want. Tomorrow we will sign the trading contracts with proper ceremony." As Do-yun walked toward the door carrying Yuna, Minseo, Ji-won, and Hyok bowed to him. He stopped and bowed back. Equal respect between equals. Then he left the quantum drive room, left behind the miracle he created. Just a tired father taking his daughter to get some rest, and maybe some purple snacks. Haran stood in the humming drive room. The light washed over her face. She felt something she had not felt in a long time. Respect for someone outside her species. Respect earned through actions, not words. "Your Majesty," Boram said quietly. "What are you thinking?" "I am thinking," Haran replied slowly, "that perhaps humans are not as bad as I believed. Perhaps they have things to teach us, if we are willing to learn." The quantum drive hummed its agreement. The eternal dawn was alive. and the galaxy felt a little bit smaller, a little bit more connected, one fixed ship at a time. Morning light filled the guest quarters, real light. Not the artificial station lights, but actual sunlight coming through large windows that showed the nearby star. Do-yun woke slowly. His body ached from the long night of work. His hands were stiff. He looked around the room. It was beautiful. Expensive furniture, soft carpets, art on the walls. This was nothing like the simple quarters he usually stayed in while trading. Yuna was still asleep in the other bed. She looked peaceful. Her small chest rose and fell with steady breathing. Do-hyun smiled. No matter what happened in the galaxy, his daughter could sleep through anything. It was a gift, the gift of childhood innocence. He got up quietly, walked to the bathroom, looked at himself in the mirror. He looked tired, old. Gray hair seemed more visible today. Lines around his eyes seemed deeper, but he felt satisfied. The ship was fixed. The challenge was complete. Soon they could return to their normal life. Trading, traveling, being together. A soft knock on the door. Do-yun pulled on his jacket and answered. A station worker stood there with a cart. "Breakfast, sir. Compliments of Empress Harren." The cart held more food than two people could eat. Fresh fruit, pastries, hot drinks, protein dishes. And there, in a special container, were purple snacks. The ones Yuna liked. Someone remembered. Someone paid attention. "Thank you," Do-yun said. He let the worker bring the cart inside. The smell of food woke Yuna. She sat up and rubbed her eyes, saw the purple snacks. Her face lit up with joy. "You got them!" "The Empress got them," Do-yun corrected. "We have a very generous host." They ate together, father and daughter, talking about small things. Yuna told him about the dream she had, something about flying ships and friendly aliens. Do-yun listened carefully. He always listened to her dreams. His wife used to say that dreams showed what the heart really wanted. Yuna's dreams were always about adventure and kindness. Good dreams for a good child. Another knock on the door. This time it was Taejin. The old council member bowed politely. "Good morning. I hope you rested well. The Empress requests your presence in the council chamber. The signing ceremony is in 1 hour. I can escort you there when you are ready." "We will be ready in 30 minutes, Do-yun said. Taejin nodded and left. Do-yun and Yuna finished eating. They cleaned up, put on their best clothes. Do-yun wore a simple suit, nothing fancy but neat and respectful. Yuna wore a dress her mother had made for her, blue with small stars on it. She only wore it for special occasions. "Do I look okay, Dad?" Yuna asked. She turned around so he could see. "You look beautiful," Do-hyun said honestly. "Your mother would be so proud of you." "I wish she could be here," Yuna said quietly. "Me too," Do-hyun said. He hugged her gently. "But she sees us. I believe that. And she is happy we are doing well." They met Taejin in the corridor. He led them through the station. Many workers stopped to look at them. Word had spread fast. The human who fixed the impossible ship. Some workers bowed. Some smiled. Some just stared with curiosity. Do-hyun walked calmly. Yuna held his hand. The council chamber was huge, high ceilings, beautiful windows showing space. Dozens of important people stood around waiting. Empress Harren sat on a raised platform. She wore formal robes today, deep purple with silver thread. She looked like what she was. Powerful, important, absolute. But when she saw Do-yun and Yuna enter, she stood up. This surprised everyone. The Empress never stood for visitors, but she stood now. It was a gesture of respect. "Welcome," Harren said. Her voice carried through the chamber. "Please come forward." Do-hyun and Yuna walked to the center of the chamber, boots clicking on polished floor, echo in the large space. They stopped at the appropriate distance, bowed respectfully, not too deep, not too shallow, just right. Yesterday you completed a challenge that seemed impossible, Harren began. She spoke formally now. This was an official ceremony. You repaired the Eternal Dawn when 28 expert engineers could not. You did this with simple tools and clever thinking. You did this with grace and humility. Today we honor our agreement. Taejin brought forward a large document. It was displayed on a projected screen so everyone could see. Pages and pages of legal text. Trading agreements, rights and privileges. Everything that would give human traders access to coalition markets. These are the terms we discussed, Harren said. Premium trading rights for all human vessels in coalition space. Priority docking at all stations. Reduced tariffs on most goods. Exclusive contracts for certain trade routes. This agreement will bring great wealth to your people. Do-hyun read through the document carefully. He took his time. Everyone waited. Some council members shifted nervously. Would he find problems? Would he demand changes? But Do-hyun just read carefully and thoroughly, the way a responsible person reads important contracts. This is fair, he finally said. This is what we agreed. I accept these terms on behalf of the human trading guilds. Harren pressed her hand against a signature panel. Her mark appeared on the document. Then she gestured for Do-hyun to do the same. He pressed his hand against the panel. His mark appeared next to hers. The document was now official. Binding, legal. It is done, Harren announced. Let the galaxy know that humans have earned their place among us, through skill, through honor, through the actions of one father who cared more about doing good work than seeking glory. Everyone in the chamber applauded. It was genuine applause, not polite ceremony, real appreciation. Do-hyun bowed. Yuna copied him. They bowed together. But Harren was not finished. She raised her hand for silence. I have one more thing to say. Do-hyun, you completed my challenge, but you also taught me something important. You taught me not to judge entire species by my prejudices. You showed me that individuals matter more than stereotypes. For this lesson, I am grateful. She stepped down from her platform, walked to where Do-hyun stood. They were now at the same level. Equal. She looked at him eye to eye. I was wrong to create this challenge with the intent to embarrass humans. I was petty, small-minded. You could have been angry about this. Instead, you simply did the work. You showed me what real dignity looks like. Your Majesty, Do-hyun said carefully, we all have prejudices, all of us, every species, every individual. What matters is whether we let those prejudices control us or whether we learn from our mistakes. You learned. That is what matters. You are kind to say so, Harren replied. But I still need to make proper amends. Therefore, I offer you a position. Not as an engineer. I understand you do not want that, but as a cultural ambassador, a liaison between human traders and coalition worlds. You would travel as you do now, trade as you do now, but you would also help others understand each other better, build bridges between species. Would you consider this? Do-hyun thought carefully. This was unexpected, but it was also interesting. Would I have to follow strict protocols, attend many formal meetings, wear fancy clothes? No, Harren said. A small smile appeared on her face. You would be yourself. Do things your way. That is why I think you would be good at this job. People trust authenticity. You are authentic. Can I think about it? Do-hyun asked. This is a big decision. I need to consider how it would affect Yuna. She is my priority. Of course, Harren said. Take all the time you need. The position will be available whenever you want it. Yuna tugged on her father's sleeve. He looked down at her. She whispered something. He listened, nodded, looked back at Harren. My daughter wants to know if the position comes with travel to different planets. She likes seeing new places. Yes, Heron said. She spoke directly to Yuna now. You would see many planets, many stations, many interesting places. Some have purple snacks you have never tried before. Yuna's eyes got big. Really? Really, Heron confirmed. The galaxy is full of wonderful foods, and interesting people, and beautiful sights. Dad, can we do it? Yuna asked. Please? Do-Yun laughed. I thought I was supposed to think about it. You always think too much, Yuna said. This made several people in the chamber laugh. A child's honest wisdom. She is right, Do-Yun admitted. He looked at Heron. I accept. We will try this position. See if we are good at building bridges. I believe you will be excellent, Heron said. You have already built one. The bridge between us. Minseo, Jiwon, and Hyok came forward. They brought a small box. We have something for you, Minseo said. She opened the box. Inside was a tool, a sonic wrench, but it was special, made from the finest materials, engraved with symbols. This is a master engineer's wrench. Usually only senior engineers receive these, but we all agreed. You earned it. Do-Yun took the wrench carefully. He felt the weight, the balance. It was perfect. Thank you. I will use this well, and every time I use it, I will remember the night we worked together. We learned more from you than we taught you, Jiwon said. That is the mark of a true teacher. And a true friend, Hyok added. If you ever need help with anything, call us. We will come. More gifts followed. A navigation crystal from Taijin, a star map from Borum, a food replicator programmed with recipes from across the galaxy from Soman. The gifts were generous but also personal. People had thought about what Do-Hyun and Yuna would actually need and use. Finally, the ceremony ended. People began to leave. Conversations started. The formal atmosphere relaxed. Do-Hyun and Yuna were surrounded by well-wishers. Everyone wanted to talk to them, ask questions, hear the story of how the ship was fixed. Do-Hyun answered patiently, told the story simply, gave credit to the engineers who helped, did not make himself sound heroic, just told the truth. Empress Heron watched from her platform. Taijin stood beside her. You made a good decision, Your Majesty. That human will serve the coalition well. I did not make the decision to help the coalition, Heron said quietly. I made it because it was right. Because he deserves respect. Because his daughter deserves to see her father honored for his work. You have changed, Taijin observed. This experience changed you. Yes, Heron agreed. Sometimes one person can change everything. One act of kindness. One moment of seeing clearly. That human gave me a gift. He gave me perspective. Hours later, Do-Hyun and Yuna prepared to leave. Their ship was loaded with supplies. The new contracts were filed. Everything was ready. Minseo came to see them off. She brought more purple snacks. For your journey, she said to Yuna. Thank you, Yuna said. She hugged Minseo. The engineer looked surprised. Then she hugged back, gentle and careful, like she was afraid she might break the small human child. Take care of your father, Minseo told Yuna. He is special. The galaxy needs people like him. I know, Yuna said. That is why I help him. He fixes ships. I fix him when he is sad. Minseo smiled. You are special too. Do not forget that. Do-Hyun shook hands with Jiwon and Hyok. Remember what we learned. Sometimes the answer is simpler than you think. Do not be afraid to remove things instead of adding them. We will remember, Jiwon promised, and we will teach others. Pass the lesson forward. The boarding ramp closed. The ship's engines hummed to life. Different from the Eternal Dawn's quantum drive, but still a good sound. A familiar sound. Home sound. Do-hyun sat in the pilot chair. Yuna sat in the co-pilot chair. She always sat there, her special seat. "Ready?" Do-hyun asked. "Ready," Yuna confirmed. "Where are we going next?" "Wherever the trade routes take us," Do-hyun said, "and wherever we can do some good." "That is a good plan," Yuna decided. She opened the container of purple snacks, offered one to her father. They ate together as the ship pulled away from the station. Behind them, the eternal dawn sat in its dock. Lights glowing, systems humming, alive and powerful. A monument to simple solutions and human ingenuity, but also a monument to cooperation, to overcoming prejudice, to learning from each other. On the observation deck, Empress Heron watched the small human ship depart. It was tiny compared to the Eternal Dawn, just a trader's vessel, nothing special. But inside it carried something valuable. Two people who made the galaxy a little bit better, who connected species through honest work and kind actions. "Safe travels," Heron whispered. She knew Do-hyun could not hear her, but she said it anyway. Some things need to be said even if nobody hears. "Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the gift of perspective." The small ship jumped to faster than light speed, disappeared into the vastness of space, gone to the next station, the next trade, the next adventure, father and daughter together. Fixing things, building bridges, making the galaxy a little bit more connected, one repair at a time. In the council chamber, Taijin filed the official report. It would be sent to every coalition world. The story of how a human trader fixed the impossible ship. How he did it with simple tools and clever thinking. How he taught them that complexity is not always better than simplicity. How he showed them that individuals matter more than stereotypes. The report would be read by millions. It would change opinions, open minds, create opportunities. Because stories matter. Stories teach. Stories connect us. But the best part of the story was not in the report. The best part was the small detail that only a few people knew. After Do-hyun fixed the quantum drive, after all the celebrations and ceremonies, Yuna asked him a question. "Dad, how did you know it would work?" And Do-hyun answered honestly, "I did not know. I just tried my best. Sometimes that is all we can do. Try our best and hope it works out." That was the real lesson. Not the technical solution, not the clever thinking. The real lesson was simple. When faced with impossible challenges, you do not give up. You do not make excuses. You just try your best. Use what you know. Trust your experience. Work carefully. Hope for success. And sometimes, just sometimes, that is enough. Across the galaxy, word spread. Humans could be trusted. Humans could solve problems. Humans were worth knowing. Not because they were superior, not because they were special, but because they were people. Individuals with skills and hearts and the desire to do good work. Trade increased. Relationships improved. Understanding grew. All because one father fixed a ship and showed that simple solutions often work best. All because one empress learned to see past her prejudices. All because a little girl trusted her father and reminded everyone that sometimes life is simple. Food, sleep, love, and purple snacks. The galaxy kept spinning, stars kept burning, ships kept traveling, and somewhere in the vast darkness of space, a small trading vessel carried two humans toward their next adventure. Ready to fix what was broken, ready to build what was needed, ready to connect what was separate, one ship at a time, one person at a time, one purple snack at a time. That is how you change the galaxy. Not with grand gestures or mighty battles, but with small acts of competence and kindness, with patience and understanding. With fathers who love their daughters and teach them that the most important thing is not being the smartest or strongest or most powerful. The most important thing is trying your best, treating others with respect, and always keeping your promises, especially promises about purple snacks. The end.